My parents' lives together began in an unusual way. It was 1936. They were dating seriously and were planning to marry when my dad received a letter inviting him to serve as a full-time missionary in South Africa. The letter said that if he were worthy and willing to serve, he was to contact his bishop. You can quickly see that the process of being called as a missionary was very different in those days. Dad showed the letter to his sweetheart, Helen, and they determined without question he would serve. For 2 weeks before he left, Mom met Dad each day for a picnic lunch in Memory Grove near downtown Salt Lake City. During one of their lunches, having sought direction through fasting and prayer, Mother told her dear Claren that if he still wanted to, she would marry him before he left. In the early days of the church, men were sometimes called to missionary service and left wives and family at home. So it was with my mother and Dad. With the approval of his priesthood leaders, they decided to be married before he departed for his mission. In the Salt Lake Temple, Mother received her endowment, and then they were married for time and all eternity by Elder David O. McKay. Theirs was a humble beginning. There were no photographs, no beautiful wedding dress, no flowers, and no reception to celebrate the occasion. Their clear focus was on the temple and their covenants. For them, the covenants were everything. After only 6 days of marriage, and with a tearful goodbye, my dad left for South Africa. But their marriage was more than just the deep love they had for each other. They also had a love of the Lord and a desire to serve Him. The sacred temple covenants they had made gave them strength and power to carry them through the 2 years of separation. They had an eternal perspective of life's purpose and of promised blessings that come to those who are faithful to their covenants. All these blessings transcended their short-term sacrifice and separation. While it certainly wasn't an easy way to begin married life, it proved to be an ideal way to lay a foundation for an eternal family. As children came along, we knew what mattered most to our parents. It was their love for the Lord and their unwavering commitment to keeping the covenants they had made. Though my parents have both passed away, it's a pattern of righteousness that is blessing our family still. The example of their lives is reflected in the words of Sister Linda K. Burton. The best way to strengthen a home, current or future, is to keep covenants. Their season of hardship and trial was not over. 3 years after Dad returned from his mission, World War II was raging, and like so many others, he enlisted in the military. He was away from home for another 4 years as he served in the Navy aboard battleships in the Pacific. It was a difficult time for my parents to be separated again, but for my mother, those days of loneliness, worry, and uncertainty were also marked by whisperings of the Spirit that spoke of eternal promises, of comfort and peace amid the storm. Despite her challenges, my mother lived a rich life, full of happiness, joy, love, and service. Her love of the Savior was reflected in the way she lived her life. She had a remarkable connection to heaven and a gift and capacity to love and bless everyone around her. Her faith in God and hope in His promises are reflected in President Thomas S. Monson's words about the temple, when he said, "No sacrifice is too great, no price too heavy, no struggle too difficult in order to receive those blessings." In all the seasons of her life, Mother was strengthened and blessed by her love of the Lord and by the covenants she faithfully made and kept.